is intended only for mature audiences.
Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's J-Man. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man.
This is Steiny.
How you fellas doing?
I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence.
Okay, it's a big topic.
Obviously, with school, and I have kids that are in school, the new thing with high school and middle school and college is, ChatGPT and other AI-based services to help kids with writing papers. And teachers some are like, don't you fucking dare. Mm-hmm. And some are like, oh, it's a tool. It can help you. And essentially, you and I being in our 40s, we can tell everybody that AI has never been this tool as much as it was broadcast as being a problem. It's something that we're eventually going to get to in society, and then Skynet's going to go live, and the Terminators are going to kill everybody. That's my first introduction to artificial intelligence.
Correct.
And then, of course, there's movies like, what's the one with Will Smith? Is that iRobot?
Yep, iRobot.
So that's like an artificial intelligent cyborg that is charged with a crime. I haven't seen the movie. I know the basis of the movie. Now, I'm going to link everything I've just said, to where we're really going with this in the span of about a minute here. Now, obviously, I podcast. I do stand-up comedy shows in the garage. I write music. I write comedy skits and record them. What I've never done is use any other program or anything to inspire me other than things that I've watched, listened to, or lived. And I'll bounce ideas off of people to see what they think to kind of leaf it out. Now, that's like using my friends, my built-in audience, like they're co-writers. Mm-hmm. But I would never in a million years think to use a program to help me write anything, because it's ridiculous. It's not art. It's a computer program giving you suggestions, and then you just, I'll go with this. And now here's the point. A big phenomenon now on streaming services is fully AI bands.
Yes, yeah.
And it's also becoming a problem because Hollywood is suing these AI companies because the studios are trying to use past performances and facial scans to come up with scripts and make, short films to inspire for a treatment, to pitch a movie. So these fully AI bands, now, they are being fed the material of other bands in the genre. Mm-hmm. And then it comes up with a name. It comes up with songs. If you listen to the lyrics, they're really fucking janky and disjointed.
Oh, yeah. Some of them are really bad.
So that's like single writers working for record companies, or just some weird company that's trying to make money off of streams for bands that aren't real. And people will listen to this shit and not even realize it. And then there's other bands that are in the scene now, like the metalcore scene and the deathcore scene, are like, hey, this band is getting more streams a month than my band is. And I've been told that the models for what their creative output is came from my band and a few others in the scene now. We're not being compensated. We don't agree with this shit. It's not real art. Don't support it. And I fully agree. If someone is going to sit there and try to just make fluff art using AI to make a profit, it disgusts me. So what I'm really driving at here is they have these fake bands. And in addition to that, you'll have artists now say, oh, well, we have all these AI tools. You'll see videos where it's like, make me a country song about Mountain Dew. And a guy's just like listening to it while it's playing it for him. And then he's trying to come up with drum parts. I forget the guy's name. It's a YouTube channel. I've seen tons of Facebook
some of
reels.
These people do that, yeah. And at first it was kind of entertaining because some of it was contemporary. It was taking modern day topics and kind of putting a fun twist on them. But now it's like, this is going overboard, right?
Have you ever sat down and tried to make music?
No. I was going to try to ask you a question, though, here, and I want to interject something. So, the traditional path to making music, and let's say it was more music for entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking big money music, right? A lot of times they were grabbing people from different areas, different bands, right? They were forming this sound based on, and they were ripping off other sounds they had heard other places, right? And, and some people would write, but they never perform their songs, right? So they write their songs for other bands, So, to me, it just seems a sleazier way to rip people off. Their argument is a lot of this was public domain when it really should not have been. A lot of this music, there was no rules in place and they were just allowed to scan all this stuff for free. And now there's all these companies that actually want and are suing, I believe, some AI companies for the what they're producing based off their images, off their music, off their songs,
because they're not paying
like
royalties and it's just free range utilization without compensation.
Correct.
So where I was going with asking if you ever tried to write a song, I know musicians. I'm sure you've known some people that have been in bands or played guitar, fucked around, did stuff.
Yep, quite a few.
So when I first got into making my own songs, I started with making rap songs. Now, I started writing rap songs when I was in, 6th grade. Mm-hmm. I didn't record one until 24 years later.
Holy shit!
And the point being is that there's experimentation. You're seeing what works, what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. That's part of the artistic process that gives what you create its artistic integrity. Now, if you're just using command prompts and a program is pooping out what it thinks you want to hear based upon what you told it to create and then some modeling, all of that is meaningless. It lacks true substance because it's not human created. There was no guy sitting down writing a bunch of guitar riffs and trying to link them together and come up with song structures, and then somebody comes in now and they're like, oh, yeah, you got the bass comes in, or you go from the lead to the fucking rhythm guitar, trying to match it, and the drums come in, and then the singer finally comes in and writes vocals to go with it and records it. That's how a band makes a song. Somebody might go into a studio, a rapper that has experience, or maybe not at all, but just freestyles a lot. They go into somebody's like, hey, spit over this beat. Mm-hmm. Somebody made that beat. Now, they did it with computers and various keyboards, MIDI boards, 8 tracks. I'm pointing at shit right here, mixers and all that. But somebody took the time to really put thought into it. It's made. It's not manufactured, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the difference between making a baby and then birthing and raising it versus adopting a baby and then raising it.
Yeah. In the case of the guy who basically puts in the command prompt and then tries to do some drums and some other things to it, in a way, it's almost kind of like PEDs. You know what I mean? You've got these athletes that have worked really hard, but then they, the last little bit, they're gonna cheat, or they're not gonna do that extra work. They're not gonna put in that effort, and therefore make it completely created by them alone.
Mm-hmm. And when I started making my own beats, I was using loop software. I wasn't just sitting there hammering out an instrument to each button and having 3-4 fucking pieces of equipment. Other people had manufactured these loops, but I took it, and because I have an appreciation for multiple genres, I was splicing shit together.
Sure.
There was elements of punk, there was hard rock, there was hip hop, there
kind
were different types of all kinds of different samples. And that experimentation is what led me to making just these wildly creative fucking beats. And then those beats inspired me to make lyrics out of topics I already had in my head, like my song, Shoot the Duck, is literally an instructional song on how to fist someone. I have a song, Standing 69. I made that beat. But in between, when I started rapping my first song I recorded, Shocked, over a DAWS FX instrumental, to where I've been with my last few songs, so much work went in, years worth of experimentation and tweaking my recording techniques, and me really sitting there and figuring out my process. I branched out from hip-hop to pop to semi-electronic stuff to instrumental shit. I've made 5 different genres I've touched on with my music. But that never would have happened, and I never would have gotten to where I'm at creatively, artistically, if I just had the ability to go into a fucking program and be like, make me a country-themed hip-hop beat. Make it dark. This many beats per minute. Here's the meter signature. That works, but I'd rather myself create the beats I'm going to spit over. And it's the Beastie Boys, and I think it was, Ad Rock that said, why would you not make your own beats? People ask me, oh, do you make your own beats? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to manufacture shit that fits the mood and our style? And it makes perfect sense. So now with the computer prompts, you lose all of that time you spend experimenting. And as you're experimenting on a guitar per se, maybe you try a few new techniques you'd never really used before. And then it improves your guitar playing ability. You become a better artist, like a kid going to the batting cage learning how to hit a fucking fastball better, which you can totally fucking sympathize with because you took your boy to get him better at hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the time I put in with my son, pushing him around on his bike, helping him learn how to ride that bitch without the training wheels like I did this past summer.
Right on. Yeah.
That was work. And over time now, he'll get bigger. He'll get used to it more. He'll try different techniques. Maybe in 5 years, we'll go to the park, and then he'll go in the skate park section and be busting BMX tricks off. I don't know. But it's going to come not from watching videos on how to do these tricks, study techniques of how to balance the bike better for tricks. Like, a skateboarder can watch 1 million skateboarding videos, or he can go to the skate park or to a parking lot or somewhere and just fuck around and try the tricks and figure it out with his own body and muscle memory how it works. And now with the advent of AI infiltrating entertainment, movies, TV, music, it just seems to me that art is going to become exponentially lazier because it's so much easier for everybody to take their smartphone and they got like a garage band and they make a beat. They're like, oh, I made a song. You did. And then technically it's no different than what I did with other people's loops and putting it together on my laptop. The difference being, though, is that everybody can do it now, so the talent pool is vastly diluted.
Oh, right. And you're limited by the creativity of the software. You know what I mean?
And if you don't have an art background and you're just fucking around and you decide, well, I'm going to become a serious artist, but then you're using AI-generated content to assist you in doing so, you don't have that natural artistic integrity. And I fear like so much is going to get lost in the process of embracing this new technology that does the work for you. Your dad can teach you to work on cars, or you can just drive that fucking thing to a mechanic and let them do it. Mm-hmm. But over time, you may not have the money for a mechanic. And if you can do it for yourself, well,
and I'm curious too, because how much of what you create with AI is yours and how much of it is the AI tools, the AI generated company, like, right?
Owns your work that you produce with their tools.
I'm curious how that really works. So who monetizes it properly, right? Who can claim the rights to? I'm curious, and maybe that's just an open-ended question, but yeah.
Well, I want you to think of the creativity in music specifically, and I know I'm honing in on only this one entertainment medium, but it's what I know best out of all of them because I've never sat down and made a TV show. I mean, I've written short stories and poetry, but I don't consider myself a writer in that sense. I write sketch comedy, so technically I'm like a comedian, but I am, ergo, a musician, air quotes, though I can't really play guitar or drums worth of shit.
Sure.
The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. So we went from the Haight-Ashbury days with all
60s,
the acid rock and the Mamas and the Papas and shit and all the stuff that was going on then. Hendrix and all of that. And then you get to the 70s, and you do have to consider disco as being an era of music because
I was born in it.
It was popular. Everybody was trying to do it. Just like once upon a time ago, the Beach Boys blew up.
Yep.
And it got to the point where the record company made an album called Surfin' with Bo Diddley. And they took Bo Diddley vocals from sessions he didn't put out and put it over somebody else's surfer rock bullshit.
Yeah.
They did
just
that.
to make a buck. Yep, because they own the rights to,
The 80s. Well, 70s into 80s.
Still rock and roll was pretty big. You still had bands like Kiss and things like that. And
but punk and new wave.
Yep, punk and new wave. Oh, yeah, that was huge, especially with the advent of MTV and music videos. And so there's a whole nother medium of art.
And then the 80s into the 90s where hip-hop started. And then hair metal gave way to grunge. And early rap gave way to 4 different kinds of hip-hop. Conscious, gangster rap, just silly pop rap, and R&B mixed with rap.
Right. But I think in the 80s and 90s, you had a lot of these music genres were no longer like these big 4 genres, right? All of a sudden, they started splitting, and things that you thought kind of went away just kind of went underground and morphed into other things, right? Because metal, all of a sudden, you went from heavy metal to, hair metal, and then it became death metal, black metal,
New metal,
new metal,
metalcore,
yeah,
deathcore.
you name it, everything. And that's mainly because we know a lot of these genres, right? All from thrash. I'm sorry, 80s was thrash and stuff like that. So you know what I mean? All these things kind of just continue to further branch out.
But it wasn't because somebody sat down and a computer did the work. Now, you might
No,
have had a
you're right, because it was-
producer guiding you,
Yeah.
or a record company, A&R, saying, we want you to make something that kind of sounds like this because it's popular.
Exactly.
And it's a little bit different than flat out saying, make me a hair metal song about lost love. And the fucking lyrics sound like a robot literally wrote them because there's no consistency in the theme. So where I'm driving at with those 4 decades of musical progression and experimentation, we won't see that again. I don't think now with the technology introduced, because it's available. It wasn't around back then. So it was all about all the ideas that every individual musician, producer, a studio recording staff, all of them, engineers, all what they brought to the table. Yeah. You know, NWA wasn't just 5 black dudes. Dr. Dre knew how to produce.
Yep.
He turned Eazy-E into a rapper. Ice Cube was a fucking natural. MC Ren did a little bit of all of it, and then Yella.
Yep.
So, I mean, just that one act, all those different elements that got brought to the table. And if you have a computer doing it and one person working on it, there's no soul. And it becomes everything that Burton C. Bell was fucking bitching about on every Fear Factory album he was on from the mid-90s until he was out of the band in the late 2010s. And I wish so badly that AI was not a thing and all these programs didn't make it easy for everybody to make music, because you can tell a kid, go play guitar. They're like, well, why would I go learn how to play guitar when machines can do it for me? And it's like, I would love for my kids to get involved in making music, but they're never going to do it organically like I did, and then eventually embrace a little bit of technology. But it's me. I'm the one deciding what sounds good to me, and I'm the one writing the lyrics, and I'm the one spitting the rhymes, and I'm the one putting the effects and the layering it and putting the comedic spin. There's a lot of heart to it, and this is just fucking soulless technology, and I hate it. You need to just say, you know what, machines, cool for helping out with some things, but let's not make all our lives this artificial intelligence, augmented reality-based bullshit where we stop relying upon human creativity. Because for everything a machine does for you, that's something your brain's not doing.
Correct.
You could learn how to free climb rocks and build your body and a skill and meet a community of people that are into that, and there's so much to it. Or you can slap on a VR helmet that somebody recorded themselves doing it, and you can fucking pantomime in your living room on your couch, and you're not learning anything, because it's the same thing as playing Guitar Hero didn't teach you how to play guitar.
It did not.
Doing driving simulations in driver's ed does not prepare you for what it's like when you're going 35 in rush hour traffic and suddenly somebody fishtails on black ice and you got to use evasive maneuvers. And this is a death machine you're steering. So I welcome the most minute amount of automation and artificial intelligence going forward. But that doesn't mean shit, because the toothpaste is out of the tube and they're just going to keep going, and it's only going to just lead to a less prolific and well-rounded and skilled, gray matter developed human race, in my opinion.
One last counterpoint.
Yeah.
There are people, though, that will find ways to be more creative with this. There are people that will, so I think, end up surprising you.
I fucking hope so.
The majority of what you said will be true, because there will be even more noise than before, right? And I think some people could have said we started that once we got to when anybody could buy a music generator on their computer and start generating music, right? A lot of people were not happy because they were like, well, now anybody can make music and make sounds,
there's no more gatekeeping.
Right,
it's the quality control.
You know, they're not actually playing real instruments. They're just taking sounds that sound like other things, right? You know what I mean? So in some ways, this is an extension of an argument that's been going on for a while now with every new advancement. I think you'll be surprised at some of the stuff that comes out, but you're also going to be more vastly horrified
At the
by
garbage.
the crap that you'll have to wade through to
The
get
ocean
to it.
of dog shit that you're going to be awash in to find something worth seeing, doing, watching, consuming, or listening to, unfortunately. Interact with the show on Twitter, What Do We Call It? That is What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm J-Man.
This is Tiny.
And that's the end.